Happy birthday to you. Ayo! 10 years ago, I posted a video that ended up being Google's #1 search result for how to make a beat. I think that's pretty impressive. I demonstrated a song that I wrote for my baby girl, who was kind of a newborn at the time. And this is her now. Booyah, hey girl, hey. And then we got busy having more. Boom, booyah. Not to mention the oldest one who's at a sports tournament right now. What does that mean for you? 10 years later, it's time for a refresh. Even though I have a studio, I showed you in that video that you didn't need one to start out making beats. I also showed you that you didn't need decades of experience. I'm gonna show you that again with nothing but a computer and a keyboard. Put on your shoes, because I'm gonna walk you through it. So, what are we recording? We're gonna run through the beat that you literally hear in the background right now. The beat that you heard in the opening of this video. It may sound complex to a lot of you beginners. It's probably easier than it sounds. Hopefully, as soon as you see it tracked out, it may look intimidating to you. Follow along with me, copy what I do. It will probably come to you easier than it sounds. So today I'm gonna be making this beat in GarageBand, as it comes free on every Mac. A lot of people have it. If you don't have GarageBand, don't worry about it. This isn't a tutorial on GarageBand. This is a tutorial on concepts of making beats and how I come up with them, the process of them. In this particular beat, I came up with the rhythm first, which are some bongos that you hear. Now, that may be difficult for some people right away, so what I'm going to do is start with an easier part, which was the piano. So in your DAW, if you're following along, try to find a grand piano, which you'll be able to find in any DAW, like Ableton will have it, obviously Logic has it, GarageBand, Fruity Loops, whatever you're using. Find a grand piano, and the keys that I'm starting out with, it's simple. It is a E, a G, and a C together. Then the next notes are the E again, with the G and a B. So if you follow my screen here at the bottom, you can see the notes here. And it's more of a count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we play those parts continuously for the count of 4 bars. And then usually I would just loop them after that. All right, let's record. Now, as you can see, that first note was off. So what you can do is quantize them. So in order to quantize, you want to highlight all of the notes that you just played. And then you want to click this Q here that you'll see down at the bottom. Once you do, you saw the notes adjust. And then when you play it back, they play with perfect timing. Now, if you notice, the notes aren't playing all at the same velocity. I play them at different velocities where the pressure that you're pressing the notes, it makes it more interesting. It's more appealing to the ear when you hear the song. All right, let's move on to the next track. We will do the rhythm. Now, if you are able to do this, fine. If you're not able to do it, that's also fine. In fact, let me start out with a stripped down version of it. For this, you want to find a kit that you have that has bongos in it. Sounds like this. You kind of want 3 different tones, a lower tone, a middle tone, and a higher tone. Now, for those, I'm using the lower tone as if it's a kick drum or a bass drum. I'm using the highest one as if it's like a snare or a clap, and then the middle one is kind of like your hi-hats. So I'll play a stripped down version. So instead of it going I'll just go. For those of you who are going to have a hard time playing it more complex. So here we go, let's record. All right, and it's recorded. You can also quantize those notes if you'd like. We have the basis for the beat. That is exactly what was playing as my title was running up. We'll move on to the next little pieces here. So get started on this bass drum, hit record. So just to hear that soloed out. Go ahead and quantize. So the next part we're going to do is the hi-hat. You can find, the drum set of your choice. Find the hi-hat of your choice within that drum set. It's on the offbeat of the metronome. So the metronome is 1. It's going to be a quick 1.5. So what you're going to get is a click and then 1, 2, a click, 1, a click, 1, 2, a click, 1. So here's how it sounds. And already we're building this beat. Now, just one thing I'm going to mention is if you just look here, you'll start to see that there's a lot of tracks here and people get intimidated by a lot of tracks. But really, these tracks that you see here are all drum tracks. And a lot of people drum all the tracks together. So that could be condensed to one track. I know in Ableton you can group tracks together and that would be one track. It would look less intimidating. So don't worry about it. It's just that I have them isolated. I like to isolate my drums so I can have more control over the effects, the reverbs, the volumes, and how I manipulate them later in the song. Next part we're going to do on the track is the claps or the snares, and it's basically a double and then a single. So just like that. So hit record. We are almost complete with the main part of the beat. So to complete the main part of the beat, we're going to do the bass. On this particular track, I use a ballad electric bass, as you can see here. You can use whatever bass you want, which one you think sounds good to you. The bass notes that I played are simple, but for a beginner, again, it may be intimidating. It may look more difficult. So what I'm going to do is strip it down. I'll play for you what the original one sounds like, and then I'll show you how to do the stripped down version. So the original version sounds like this. All right, but I'm gonna play an easier version so you can follow along. For a lot of you who aren't concert pianist and you don't have great finger technique or you got fat fingers like I do, a good technique is to slow the tempo down, play it at a tempo that you feel comfortable playing it, and then once you quantize and speed it up, you'll find that it sounds like you naturally played it at that speed. You may have difficulty with the notes at the end of it that go. So I'm going to record them slower for you, show you how they sound when we record them slower, and then speed them up. Now that we've recorded, go ahead and quantize it, speed up the tempo back to 85. When we add all the tracks together, what do we get? great. You basically have a complete verse portion of the song. This particular song has a chorus portion, a bridge, different parts of the song that I change up to make it more interesting and to change as the vocals change in the song. But since this is a beginner course, I feel like if you followed along and you copied these tracks, you got something that you can be proud of. You'll show it off to your friends and family. Tell them that you're a producer. So if you want to get an idea of what it sounded like in the more complex version, which I wouldn't say is complex, but it's more complex than what I showed you, this is what it sounds like. And then leading into the chorus. Hopefully you were able to get something out of that. If not, run it back, keep practicing, try over, try over, try over. This comes with practice. Keep producing.